Okay guys, so here we are on the side of the road. We've got a big wobble on this tire, and so what we suspect is that it's a bearing. So I've already loosened the cap here. I have the jack under it, and I can wiggle. Can you hear that? It's wobbling pretty good. We're going to check the other side too, but I just want to show you guys how to do this if you're on the side of the road. So we're going to use a pair of pliers, screwdriver, and a hammer. I've already twisted the cap off with the screwdriver and the hammer, and now I'm going to pry out this clip right here. Okay, now that I've pried out the clip, that should be a cotter clip, but whatever works to hold that nut. Now at this point, you should have a 1 7/8", 32 millimeter, 28 millimeter, whatever size socket, but you know this is all about just getting this done with the essential tools. So we're not going to go buy a $30 socket. I have one here on the service truck, but we're not going to grab it because we don't need it. So look at this nut. It should not be loose. See me moving that? So that's a huge issue, and the grease is broke down to oil. Now I did bring some grease, so I will be lubing it up as well. Let's start off by taking that nut off. So now at this point, you may be asking yourself, who put this nut on and how come they didn't get it tighter? Well, the truth is they probably did, but because we see what appears to be oil in here rather than grease, the grease is broken down and now it's thinner. So I think you get that. It creates less space in there, more space for air. So it just broke down and needs grease. These bearings should be packed into a bearing packer or a grease packer for bearing. And I have one of those, but again, that's not what this video is about, right? We're just all about saving money. So let's go ahead and get them out of there. Now, if you had grease there and it was extremely thick, way back here it will be, right there around the edge. See how much thicker that is? If you had that all the way to the outside and even your cap was full of grease and somebody serviced them recently and you're having this problem, then yes, go ahead and pull the cotter key and snug it back down a little bit. And I'll show you where to set that at when you tighten it down in a moment. But if not, we're going to go ahead and pull it off. So I'm going to set the rag there because I'm using one hand. We're going to pull there'll be a flat washer and a bearing in there. We're just going to pull it out. Maybe I can do it with one hand. Put some pressure on it with my foot. There we go. Now there's our washer. There's our bearing that we're going to pack. Let's pull it off, take a look at the back side of it. There she is. And we're going to put a little bit of grease in there as well. Those brakes are down quite a ways, but let's just get it back to the shop or back on the road in your case. We're going to pack that with some grease, and we're going to pack that other bearing with grease, and we're going to snug it back up. So let me grab the grease. I don't know if I can do this with one hand, but essentially what you're going to do is you're going to use the other hand and you're going to shove this bearing down in like that, rolling every single ball bearing in there and lubing it up with grease. So I am going to use two hands because I want to make sure that I get it between there because I don't have a bearing packer here with us. So let me do this and then we're going to shove it in the back. We'll load a little bit in the cap. We'll reassemble this. Okay guys, so now the final thing here is how tight do we get this? The rule of thumb is place your hand in the 12 o'clock position. Spin it to 3 or spin it to 9, right? So just like that. See how many times it rotated around? You only want it to spin a half a rotation at that point. That's too much, so we need to tighten it down a little bit. So the hole is up here. I'll go to the next hole and tighten it up and check it again. Okay, so I went to the next hole. 12 o'clock. That's it. Did you see that half a turn? That's perfect. That's where we want it. So at this point, we can take our cotter key, or pin in this case, wipe it off there, and we can stick it back in the hole where it belongs, and then we'll bend it over and put the cap back on. Okay, some guys like to put grease inside the cap, some don't. I always do. And the reason is, there's a couple different reasons. If it breaks down, velocity can throw a little bit down inside by the bearing. Not much, it really doesn't make that much difference. But what it does make a difference for is heat. So it keeps that cap cooler, keeps this nut cooler, keeps the oil from breaking down quicker. So I like to do that. If it's a plastic cap, not so much. Metal cap, I always do. So that's it. I'm going to hit that on with the hammer and we will be done with this side. I'll go over and I'll do the other side. So I hope this video helps you out. Please click like, please click subscribe, click on my name underneath this video for all my other how-to videos. Thanks guys, enjoy.